Excuse me, why did Ellis Island close?
Oh, that's a great question. And to understand it, you need to understand why Ellis Island opened. Ellis Island was the very first federal immigrant processing center in the United States, and it opened in 1892. It opened because for the very first time in US history, the federal government was in charge of processing immigrants. So they looked around, they found the busiest port in the United States, the Port of New York and the Port of New Jersey, and they opened up Ellis Island. And for years, immigrants passed through these very halls. In 1924, the Johnson-Reed Act was passed. Now, the Johnson-Reed Act, it limited the number of immigrants who were allowed to enter the United States to 150,000 total. It was the very first time that a quota was ever set on the number of immigrants who were allowed to enter. And you can only imagine the effect that this had on immigration in the United States, because in Ellis Island alone, on its busiest day, over 11,000 immigrants were processed here. Now, because of that law change, most immigrants were processed in their home countries, not in the United States, so there was not a need for Ellis Island as an immigrant processing center. Let's talk about some of the ramifications of the Johnson-Reed Act. So because the Johnson-Reed Act limited the number of immigrants to 150,000 a year, that means a lot of people who wanted to come here couldn't. They applied for visas and were denied. Now, one of these people who applied for a visa was a German war veteran and a German bank employee. Now, he applied for visas to the United States in 1938 and 1941 for himself and his family, which included 2 daughters, and he was denied every time. So instead, he and his family moved to the Netherlands. Now, you might know this man and what happened to his family. His name was Otto Frank. His daughters included Anne and Margot. You can only imagine how differently their story would have ended if those quotas were not put into place. For more NYC, follow me.